have mercy upon us. Lord, have mercy upon us. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Almighty God, who in thy wisdom and goodness hast appointed the office of rulers and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of men and women, we beseech thee to behold with thy abundant favor us thy servants, whom thou hast been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in these islands. Let thy blessing descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote thy honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of these islands, and those whose interests thou hast committed to our charge. And this we beg for Jesus Christ's sake. Amen. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, and the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all, evermore. Amen.
Members. First on the agenda, as per normal, confirmation of minutes. There are no objections. The next thing coming along is messages from the governor, and there are none. And announcements. Members, I think you are clearly aware, because I'm sitting here, that the Honorable Speaker is absent today. The Government Whip, Member Tyrrell, is absent. And the Opposition Whip, Member Cannoneer, is likewise absent. And there have been no other notices of absenteeism for today. Members, we have a report from the Office of the Auditor General. This report has been received, and it regards ministerial travel, meal, and hospitality expenses, and that is the title. And the report has been submitted in compliance with Section 13 of the Audit Act 1919. Okay. There are no messages from the Senate, and that brings us to papers and other communications to this House. And I call on first the Minister of Health.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Acting Speaker. I have the honor to attach and submit for the information of the Honorable House of Assembly the 2022 Bermuda Hospitals Board Annual Report and the 2023 Bermuda Hospital Board's Annual Report.
Thank you, Minister. Minister, there is a second. You said the 2023 as well? You did.
They were combined. I move the motion combined. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. The next one comes from the Minister of Home Affairs, Minister Lightbourne.
Good morning, Madam Acting Speaker. I have the honor to attach and submit for the information of the Honorable House of Assembly the Regulatory Authority Annual Report for the 2019-2020 and the Affordable Bermuda Agenda, Building a Strategy to Address the Cost of Living, October 2025.
Thank you, Minister. The next on the agenda is the Minister of Tourism, Transport, and Culture and Sport. Minister.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. I have the honor to attach and submit for the information of the Honorable House of Assembly the Road Traffic Approved Speed Detection Devices Order 2025, as made by the Minister responsible for transport in exercise of the power conferred in the definition of approved speed detection device under Section 7A of the Road Traffic Act 1947.
Thank you, Minister. And I now call on the Minister of Public Works, Minister Adams.
And Environment, thank you.
And Environment.
Madam Acting Speaker, I have the honor to attach and submit for the consideration of the Honorable House of Assembly the Clean Air Amendment Regulations 2025, proposed to be made by the Environment in exercise of the power conferred by Section 11 of the Clean Air Act 1991. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. That brings us to petitions, of which there are none. Statements by ministers and junior ministers. We have several on the paper, and I now call on the Premier and Minister of Finance.
Good morning, Madam Acting Speaker. Madam Acting Speaker, the world has been gripped by the images of damage caused by Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica. Today's weather forecasting means that we are most forced to watch in painful, slow motion as storms gather strength and make landfall. Madam Acting Speaker, regrettably, the warnings matched and in some cases exceeded the expectations of what Hurricane Melissa would bring. Madam Acting Speaker, I'd invite honorable members of the public to take note of the cruel irony of a storm of this strength and impact developing on the eve of the traditional end to the hurricane season. It should be clear that there is a new reality regarding weather patterns. Madam Acting Speaker, that new reality is referred to in an article in the United Kingdom's Guardian newspaper published yesterday. And with your leave, I'll propose to quote from that piece as follows. And I quote, "The savage strength of Melissa was exacerbated by the overheated air and ocean caused by the heat-trapping emissions that come from the burning of fossil fuels," an international team of scientists has determined. Climate change increased Melissa's maximum wind speeds by 7% and extreme rainfall by 16%. The team at World Weather Attribution, a consortium of 20 researchers from the US, UK, Sweden, Dominican Republic, Netherlands, Jamaica, and Cuba, found events such as the 5 days of pounding rainfall in Jamaica from Melissa are now about 30% more intense and twice as likely due to today's altered climate, which is about 1.3 degrees centigrade hotter globally than pre-industrial average, the analysis found. Global heating has made the atmospheric and marine conditions behind such extreme events 6 times more likely. End quote. Madam Acting Speaker, the impact of climate change is real, and the leadership required to confront this crisis must come from small island states, those who bear its brunt most severely, often to the detriment of the very people who can least afford it. The tragic loss of life and the devastation to infrastructure have spurred a global response in support of Jamaica's relief efforts. In Bermuda, the government has been pleased to join with private sector leaders and the Jamaican Association, who have led an appeal for aid. As honorable members would have seen from media reports, the local response has been incredible, and I wish to salute those who championed this cause and marshal the logistics required to provide much-needed supplies for our brothers and sisters in Jamaica. In addition to the public donations, the Bermuda Hospitals Board, with support of the Ministry of Health, provided approximately $80,000 in medical supplies. Madam Acting Speaker, as much havoc as Melissa wrought, the spirit of the Jamaican people is undaunted. The resilience and determination to emerge stronger from this unprecedented natural disaster has inspired the world. Recovery and rebuilding will be a long journey, and the assistance of global and regional partners will be necessary in the long term. Madam Acting Speaker, honorable members will be aware of the long-standing relationship between the Jamaica Defense Force and the Royal Bermuda Regiment. In consultation with the Governor, the regiment's Commander-in-Chief, the honorable member, the Minister of National Security, and the commanding officer, we will determine how the Bermuda Regiment can best assist in the coming weeks and months. In addition to the potential assistance of the Bermuda Regiment, honorable members will be aware of the annual budgetary allocation for hurricane relief. That sum will be applied to also assist the relief effort following consultation with the governor of Jamaica to ensure that key needs are met on island. Madam Acting Speaker, I wish to thank all those residents who gave in support of the relief effort. Your generosity has been appreciated, and as we speak, that which you gave is finding its way into the hands of people who in some cases will be without power and other critical services for weeks, if not months. This will not be the last time that Bermuda is called upon to help, and I'm confident that this community will heed that call and continue to support our sister island of Jamaica and her people. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Premier. I now call on the Deputy Premier to give his statement.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I rise today to update this Honorable House and the people of Bermuda on the progress this government has made in addressing the housing crisis and to outline the next steps as we continue our mission to ensure every Bermudian has a safe, secure, and affordable place to call home. Madam Deputy Speaker, as outlined in the government's residential building program for 2025-26, we are pursuing a comprehensive and coordinated approach to housing, one that combines new construction, the renovation of existing units, modular housing solutions, and partnerships with the private sector. This plan is guided by a simple yet urgent goal to increase the supply of affordable homes across the island while modernizing and diversifying how we deliver them. As of September 2025, the Bermuda Housing Corporation waitlist records 304 applicants, 72 critical, 192 urgent, and 40 regular. Nearly 60% of these are seeking studio and one-bedroom units. These are our seniors, single parents, and young Bermudians, hardworking people who continue to face housing instability in an increasingly competitive market. Madam Deputy Speaker, this government is delivering tangible results across the island. Construction is advancing at key sites, including Harmony Terrace Paget. Earlier this year, we completed Harmony Terrace East, providing 12 new affordable units that are now occupied. Work is already underway at Harmony Terrace North, which will add 16 new studios by late summer 2026. Chelsea Apartments in St. George's, the $2.3 million restoration of this historic 1874 property, is converting 2 heritage buildings into 5 modern apartments, 2 3-bedrooms and 3 2-bedroom units, while preserving the character and architecture that make it unique. Completion remains on schedule for the second quarter of 2026. Middletown Pembroke. Renovations at Brown House are transforming 4 2-bedroom units into modern, efficient homes, with completion expected in early 2026. Battery Road Phase 3, St. David's, currently underway, will deliver 12 additional homes by early 2026, including studios, 1-bedrooms, and 2-bedroom units. Together, these projects will bring more than 60 new affordable homes online by mid-2026. To respond swiftly to urgent housing needs, the ministry has procured 11 modular and expandable container homes, which will be installed on one of the available sites under the ministry's responsibility through the Bermuda Housing Corporation or the Bermuda Land Management Corporation. The units comprise 6 1-bedroom capsules, 1 2-bedroom capsule, and 4 expandable container homes, offering 2 and 3-bedroom configurations. Installation is scheduled for completion within the next 3 to 4 months. Once deployed, these units will provide immediate relief to families in the most critical need and serve as a live pilot to assess modular construction as a long-term housing solution. The modular initiative forms part of our Emergency Housing Plan 2025-2027, currently being developed. The plan is designed to deliver rapid, cost-effective, high-quality accommodation on available government lands. Lessons from this pilot on cost, comfort, and community reception will guide the future expansion of modular housing across the island. Madam Deputy Speaker, our work continues. The ministry has already identified a number of priority sites for the next phase of the residential building program 2026-2027. And those include Victoria Rose Sandys, Albert Rose Sandys, Dr. Can Park Phase 2 Southampton, 13 Ewan Street, City of Hamilton, and Harborview Village in St. David's. Collectively, these sites are projected to deliver approximately 225 new affordable units, primarily 1 and 2-bedroom homes. We are evaluating construction methods, including precast concrete systems and stacked concrete modular designs to ensure the best balance of cost, speed, and sustainability. Madam Deputy Speaker, in tandem with our building program, work continues on the Affordable Housing Strategy 2025 to 2035, a 10-year plan to close Bermuda housing gap and build a fair, sustainable housing system for the future. The strategy defines affordable housing as accommodation that costs no more than 30% of household income, in line with international best practice. It will outline the policies, financing tools, and partnerships needed to expand supply, upgrade existing units, and ensure that every Bermudian has access to a safe, secure, and affordable home. A consultation draft will be presented to Cabinet in due course. Madam Deputy Speaker, housing is not merely about construction, it's about people. It is about restoring dignity, strengthening communities, and ensuring that the opportunity begins at home. Every renovation, every modular unit, and every key handed to a new tenant represents real progress for Bermudians. Through the combined efforts of the Bermuda Housing Corporation, the Bermuda Land Management Corporation, the Bermuda Housing Trust, our local contractors, and our community partners, this government is delivering on its promise to build stronger communities and a fairer Bermuda. We remain steadfast in our mission to make safe, secure, and affordable housing a reality for all Bermudians, not as an aspiration, but as an achievement. Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. And before I call on the next minister, I would like to recognize that we have in-house the President of the Senate, Mrs. Joan Billis Wright. Yes. And in the gallery, we have our former Sergeant at Arms, Mr. Albert Fox. Yes. Thank you. And he is from Constituency 3, St. David's. Okay, I call on the Minister of National Security. Minister, you have the floor to give your statement.
Good morning, Acting Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, listening public. Madam Acting Speaker, I rise today to offer this honorable House a post-mortem on the recent storms that visited our shores, namely Hurricane Imelda and Hurricane Melissa. I am inclined to offer comments on this matter today, as I am very thankful on several levels for the manner in which we handled these storms. Madam Acting Speaker, Hurricane Imelda and Hurricane Melissa visited our shores in early and late October, respectively. They both posed very real threats to our country, coming as they did so closely to our shores. Data shows that Melissa was one of the most powerful storms to hit the Caribbean, and as we all know, she ravaged our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, particularly Jamaica. Both storms caused us to mobilize our very effective Emergency Measures Organization, or EMO, which is charged with the responsibility of preparing us for the arrival of a storm and for coordinating the recovery efforts thereafter. In anticipation of each of these storms, the EMO met well in advance of the closest point of approach and analyzed the critical data provided to us by the Bermuda Weather Service. Madam Acting Speaker, we made timely, analytical, and strategic decisions ahead of each of these storms and put in place mitigation plans that enabled us to significantly reduce the threats to our safety and security. For example, those decisions included closure of the causeway, schools, and government offices, as well as the suspension of buses and ferries. These decisions were aimed at minimizing the number of people on the roads before, during, and after the hurricanes. We found these measures to be effective in reducing the potential for injury and harm. Madam Acting Speaker, as part of our preparation for these hurricanes, in addition to the closures I just mentioned, the EMO took several actions to protect our citizens. These included, but were not limited to, the following: providing regular weather updates, standing up the Emergency Measures Operations Center, which is the hub of all activity and coordination before, during, and after a hurricane, strategically placing emergency vehicles, opening the emergency shelter, opening the Lamb Fogo Urgent Care Center, suspending bus and ferry services, embodied elements of the Royal Bermuda Regiment. Madam Acting Speaker, I must commend the members of the EMO for their professionalism, composure, and collaboration as they perform their respective functions. Our EMO model is a testament to how different entities ought to work together in times of crisis, and I sincerely thank them for their contributions to the cause. The Bermuda Weather Services deserves much credit for the accurate and timely information that it provides in such times. I have found their staff to be highly knowledgeable and very alert to the dangers that hurricanes pose. Their counsel to me and the EMO has been invaluable, and we all should be proud to have such proficient and competent meteorologists in our midst. Madam Acting Speaker, I also have to commend and thank our people for their cooperation during both hurricanes. Even though we may have been storm weary, given the number of storm systems this year, my impression is that our people did not become complacent when anticipating Imelda and Melissa. For that, I am grateful, as I know that the preparations that citizens took helped to reduce the damage and potential injury that could have been caused by either hurricane. Madam Acting Speaker, I am certain that I do not have to remind this House that both hurricanes caused significant power outages, leaving thousands without electricity in their wake. But, Madam Speaker, that is not the real story. The real story is the remarkable speed with which the wonderful workers at Balco restored power to our citizens. Hurricane Melissa, for example, left almost 20,000 residents without electricity. That is a huge proportion of our country. Amazingly, within mere days, the vast majority of those without power had been restored. Balco workers are heroes at such a time as these, and we are enormously grateful for their dedication and efficiency. Likewise, Madam Acting Speaker, I hasten to thank and commend all the staff at Public Works, Parks, and the Royal Bermuda Regiment for their sterling efforts in restoring our island after the passage of each hurricane. And I might add, Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Transport also. I add to my list of thanks and commendations to the staff at the shelter, hospital, correction facilities, and the Bermuda Police Service for their service before, during, and after the hurricanes. They too deserve praise for their contribution to the safety and security of our people. Madam Acting Speaker, the Disaster Risk Reduction and Mitigation Team, or DERM, is based at Ministry Headquarters. They are a formidable team that proved their worth during both hurricanes. The National Disaster Coordinator commenced his employment with us a mere 2 days before Imelda started her approach. So within his first week with us, he had to organize and galvanize his team to navigate through Imelda. He and his team did a phenomenal job through both hurricanes, and I commend them wholeheartedly. Madam Acting Speaker, customarily, the hurricane season does not end until November 30th. So we still have a few weeks to go for 2025. My plea today is for all of Bermuda to remain vigilant and watchful during the remainder of this hurricane season. We can ill afford to let our guards down at this time. Madam Acting Speaker, having to perennially cope with hurricanes is a way of life for us here in Bermuda. Mere words seem inadequate to express my pride and gratitude for the way our people face these storms and how we very quickly return to normality. This speaks of our hardiness and unity of purpose when we face adversity. These are traits I wish we could practice, Madam Acting Speaker, every day in Bermuda, not just when the Malders and Melissas pay us a visit. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. I now call on the Minister of Economy and Labor to present his statement. Minister.
Good morning, Madam Acting Speaker. In March 2024, I stood before this honorable House to lay the position paper entitled Retaining the Local Workforce. The paper highlighted the demographic challenges that will negatively impact the Bermudian workforce as a result of declining birth rates and an aging population. The paper explained that Bermuda, like many other aging economies, will experience labor shortages and skills gaps in the coming years. The Ministry of Economy and Labor recently released the 2025 job market employment briefs, and the data indicated that there were an increase of 585 jobs between 2023 and 2024, of which only 18 or 0.1% were filled by Bermudians. The Bermudian job numbers illustrate the labor force problem explained in the 2024 position paper. Madam Acting Speaker, the problem we are facing is clear. New Bermudians entering the workforce are simply replacing those who are retiring. For example, if 400 Bermudians retired from the workforce in 2024, according to the job numbers, it means that 418 new Bermudians entered the workforce in 2024, which would reflect only 18 new Bermudian jobs created. The impact on our population's demographic profile on our job numbers cannot be overemphasized. Madam Acting Speaker, the government is committed to making sure that Bermudians are provided with every opportunity to equip themselves with the knowledge and requisite skills needed so they can have a fair shot when competing for jobs. As a government, we want to see more and better opportunities for Bermudians. The government has been unwavering in our commitment to implement policies and expand the rights of Bermudian workers and ensure Bermudians are protected in the workplace. Madam Acting Speaker, the government has a proud track record of expanding labor protections. The government has worked diligently to strengthen workers' rights and protections, such as implementation of a minimum wage rate of $16.40, ensured all employers have a policy against workplace bullying and harassment, increased compensation for workplace injury, increased maternity leave, introduced paternity leave as a right, ensured all employees get meal breaks, published independent contractor guidance, and protected employees' tips and gratuities. However, Madam Acting Speaker, it was acknowledged that more work was needed to strengthen labor policies and their enforcement to ensure the rights of Bermudian workers are protected. Thus, in the 2024 position paper, the government committed to providing further support to Bermudians in the workforce, and I am pleased to report the significant progress that has been made. Madam Acting Speaker, the government committed to and delivered on our commitment to produce guidelines that clarify how the minimum hourly wage will progress and have increased the minimum hourly wage rate to $17.13. The government committed and delivered on our promise to increase allowable severance pay by increasing the maximum payout from 26 to 32 weeks for long-serving employees. The government committed to and delivered on our promise to amend the work permit policy to ensure that Bermudian workers are protected from being forced out during layoffs when there are work permit holders in similar positions. The government committed to and delivered on our promise to amend the work permit policy to ensure that there is a hiring hierarchy which places Bermudians first amongst all other groups. The government committed to and delivered on our promise to amend the work permit policy to ensure that all work permit holders have proficiency in the English language. The government committed and delivered on our promise to continue to revise closed and restricted job categories. The Ministry of Economy and Labor will also host industry-specific employee meetings to get a better understanding of current workplace conditions to better shape future policies. In addition, Madam Acting Speaker, the government is partnering with the unions on the creation of a campaign supporting collective bargaining and union organizing. The government has also developed a policy which is under review by the Labor Advisory Council to advance pay transparency provisions. And the Labor Advisory Council is also reviewing options to strengthen the rights of the Employment and Labor Tribunal to better support workers in receiving their awards. And the government will be issuing guidelines to employers to encourage the continuation of work for workers over 65 years of age. Madam Acting Speaker, these commitments and ongoing initiatives demonstrate the government's unwavering dedication to protecting Bermudian workers and strengthening the labor market by advancing fair employment practices, supporting union efforts, and ensuring equitable treatment for all employees. We are laying the foundation for a more just and prosperous future. Our future remains on fostering an inclusive workforce where every Bermudian has the opportunity to thrive, and we will continue to work collaboratively to address emerging challenges and uphold the rights of all workers. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. I now call on the Minister of Health. Member, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good morning again. Madam Acting Speaker, this morning I would like to advise the public about a public health alert regarding the current leptospirosis situation in Bermuda, and I will outline the response led by the Ministry of Health and partner agencies and share clear and practical steps that everyone can take to protect their health. Madam Acting Speaker, for those who do not know, leptospirosis is a bacterial infection that can be transmitted directly or indirectly to humans from rodents or pets, such as dogs, as well as farm animals. The spread of the bacteria occurs through contact with water, soil, or food that has been contaminated by the urine of an infected animal. In environments where there is heavy rainfall, floods, or poor sanitation, the risk of the spread of leptospira bacteria increases. Madam Acting Speaker, whilst most cases are mild, early symptoms of leptospirosis often mimic mild flu-like symptoms, as well as yellowing of the skin, skin rashes, or redness of the eyes. It is important to note that if left untreated, severe infections can lead to liver or kidney failure or other serious complications with the brain, lungs, or heart. This is why, Madam Speaker, early detection and treatment are important. To provide the local context, for the year 2025, the Epidemiology and Surveillance Unit, or ESU, has reported 3 confirmed cases of leptospirosis in humans, all of which have received appropriate medical care. There has been no identified link between the 3 cases and their exposure. Over the past 10 years, ESU has reported only 1 confirmed human case, and that was in 2023. However, there have been sporadic cases of lepto reported in dogs in the past years. Madam Acting Speaker, the ESU, under the direction of the Chief Medical Officer, is currently leading case investigations and coordinating a robust and multi-sector response to our current leptospirosis situation. And recognizing the lineage between human, animal, and environmental health, the ESU has employed a One Health approach, working in close collaboration with the environmental health, vector control, and laboratory teams to conduct environmental health assessments, intensify rodent control measures, and diagnostic testing. Specifically, Madam Acting Speaker, the environmental health team maintains a continuous baiting schedule in identified hot spots across the island with particular focus on gardens, city parks, and drains. The vector control team has intensified trapping and control measures in hotspot areas. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources has been an invaluable partner in field assessments and mitigation efforts. Regional technical guidance has been sought from the Caribbean Public Health Agency, or CARFA, to ensure best practices in surveillance, testing, and control are applied, and laboratories have been scaling up testing and sharing results promptly to inform response actions. Madam Acting Speaker, these coordinated actions reflect a comprehensive, evidence-based effort to protect public health. And I'm pleased to report that the ESU and partner agencies remain vigilant and will continue to update the community as the situation evolves. It is vital that I remind the public of measures they should be taking to protect themselves, their pets, and their environment. Wear protective gear when gardening, working outdoors, or with animals. Wash your hands and clean cuts thoroughly after contact with soil or animals. Avoid swimming or walking in waters that may have been contaminated with animal urine, especially after heavy rains or floods. Protect food and drinks from rodents by covering them. Remove all standing water and debris from your outdoor spaces that can serve as breeding grounds for rodents. Keep your trash tied up tightly and use garbage cans that have lids. Only take out your garbage on collection days. Protect your pets by getting them vaccinated and promptly seek medical attention if symptoms develop after possible exposure to contaminated water or soil or with an infected animal. Madam Acting Speaker, leptospirosis is preventable, and public education and awareness are important to prevent future cases of lepto in our community. And in this regard, the Ministry of Health will continue to the following: expand community education and outreach efforts among residents, especially schools, about safe waste collection, management, and disposal practices. Share communications with healthcare providers and veterinarian care providers to bolster their vigilance, and issue public advisories to raise awareness on preventive practices in our community. Bermuda, please remember that residents have a role to play in managing their own spaces, protecting their pets, and practicing good hygiene and sanitation. Madam Acting Speaker, the Ministry of Health will also continue epidemiological surveillance and case follow-up, and will coordinate with partner agencies to monitor the situation. I assure the public that we have taken all actions within our mandate to control the situation and to maintain a low level of risk through increased precautionary measures. We will remain proactive, and we ask for the public's cooperation in practicing effective rodent control measures to help mitigate further spread of this bacteria. In closing, Madam Speaker, I thank the health and environmental staff who have been working tirelessly to mount a comprehensive response to contain and control the situation. And I encourage the listening audience to follow the ministry's Facebook page and the government website's health information page for the latest information and guidance. And for members of the public who need assistance with rodent control on their property, please contact Environmental Health at 278-5333 or alternatively envhealth@gov.bm. We are here to support communities with prevention, treatment, and environmental health resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. I call on the Minister of Home Affairs. Minister, to.
Good morning, Madam Acting Speaker. This morning I rise to update this honorable House on the ministry's efforts to address cost in Bermuda. The Bermuda Affordable Agenda constitutes phase one of the ministry's journey to address affordability in Bermuda and reflects the ministry's mandate to lead efforts on behalf of the government. Madam Acting Speaker, this marks another step forward in our work to ensure that every Bermudian can live, build, and thrive here at home. Members will recall that in February 2025, the ministry received a clear and focused mandate to address the cost of living on our island. This agenda is proof of our swift action to address lived experiences where residents expressed that the costs are just too high. The data gathered from more than 2,200 residents and 270 businesses in March and April of this year indicated that immediate relief was expected, but in order for it to be applied successfully, it must be practical and fair. Madam Acting Speaker, beyond collecting data, we engaged with industry, held focus groups, and tested ideas to ensure policy reflected the real experiences and outcomes. In June, over 250 participants attended the Cost of Living Summit, resulting in actionable tasks and stronger connections between the public and public policy implementation. Funding for this effort was $57,000.64. Mr. Speaker, since the summit, the ministry has analyzed and refined more than 300 proposals into clear, actionable plans. Phase one is tabled today, while additional proposals continue to be assessed for viability ahead of publication. Affordability is a shared responsibility, and the government must modernize and legislate fairly. The private sector must evolve in step with the needs of customers, and the public must also be empowered with information, education, and participation. This will result in meaningful and impactful and sustainable outcomes. Madam Acting Speaker, the Affordable Bermuda Agenda is anchored in 5 guiding principles. Decisions must be evidence-based, transparency and public accountability must be the norm, fairness must reach households and businesses, reforms must be sustainable over the long term, and finally, responsibility must be shared across government, industry, and community. Additionally, Madam Acting Speaker, Phase 1 targets 3 priorities: imports and food security, utilities, and housing, with an emphasis on consumer education and protection. Efforts include modernizing import processes, ongoing duty relief reviews for key produce, and providing resources to help households grow basic foods at home. We will enhance regulatory enforcement timelines within the utility sector, conduct a thorough review of our energy transition to ensure and confirm that renewable adoption is appropriately scaled and cost-effective, and increase price transparency to ensure accountability remains clear and consistent. With regards to housing, Madam Acting Speaker, we have introduced, or an advance rather, landlord and tenant reforms, which seek to create equity between the rights afforded to both landlords and tenants. Madam Acting Speaker, because informed customers drive fairer markets, the ministry will launch a consumer rights campaign so that every resident knows their options, understands their protections, and can seek redress with confidence. Madam Acting Speaker, in support of immediate relief while advancing other cost savings initiatives, wholesalers and retailers have been invited to participate in short-term price reductions on select national brands, commonly purchased by families. The reduction will be shared equally, 10% from wholesalers and 10% from retailers, for a 9-month period, starting the 1st of November. This initiative is additional to weekly in-store discounts and applies to essential categories such as baby formula, rice, dairy, toiletries, and cleaning supplies. Participating entities include the BGA, Butterfield and Vallis, Viking Foods, the Marketplace, Dunkley's Dairy, and the Linders Group. Additionally, the ministry is pleased to also announce that the Garden Market will also be joining this initiative, and information can be found on the costofliving.gov.bm website in the coming days. Madam Acting Speaker, this agenda aligns and builds on the tangible evidence that this government continues to demonstrate. This includes budget measures to address our costs across our economy. Madam Acting Speaker, the Cost of Living Commission will oversee implementation and monitoring, ensuring delivery of reforms, recommending regulatory safeguards, and providing quarterly reports with support from the ministry. Updates on progress will be made available on the Cost of Living website and via official government channels as reforms are coordinated amongst partner ministries and industry stakeholders. I would like to extend my gratitude to the Chairman of the Cost of Living Commission, Ms. Michelle Jackson, and Deputy Chairman, Mr. Neville Grant of the Cost of Living Commission, along with our private sector partners and private sector experts for the dedication and collaboration. The principles of unity, equity, and measurable outcomes underpin our approach. Phase 1 transitions from consultation to implementation, introduces savings measures, and establishes a foundation for comprehensive reforms in imports, utilities, and housing. Madam Acting Speaker, the ministry will advance priority legislative initiatives as outlined in the agenda and report to this Honorable House on a quarterly basis. It is important to note that Bermuda has taken concrete steps to address affordability through policy development, collaborative partnerships, and practical action. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. That ends. Yeah, that's right. The Landlord and Tenant Act. Sorry.
That's okay.
I was going to skip past it. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Yes.
I also rise to update this Honorable House on the work that the Ministry of Home Affairs has pursued to modernize Bermuda's landlord and tenant laws. This fulfills the 2025 Throne Speech commitment to complete amendments to the Landlord and Tenant Act to deliver fair, transparent, and affordable housing. Madam Acting Speaker, for 50 years, our rental market has operated under two outdated statutes: the Landlord and Tenant Act 1974 and the Rent Increases Domestic Premises Control Act 1978. Candidly, Madam Acting Speaker, these laws were enacted and served a different era and not reflective of modern time. Challenges include fragmentation, duplication, and inconsistency. Clear limits on deposits or late fees are practical imperfections and further fail to effectively remedy ongoing challenges of enforceable repair obligations and do not adequately prohibit harassment or unlawful eviction. Dispute resolution through the existing framework relies on the magistrate's court, which is often costly, time-consuming, adversarial, and difficult to access. Madam Acting Speaker, consistent with our mandate to reduce the cost of living and strengthen security, the ministry has advanced a consultative draft that seeks to repeal and replace both acts with a single modern framework. The ministry's intention is to eliminate redundancy, ensure consistency, strengthen enforcement, and promote fairness and accountability for both landlords and tenants. This reform is a core element of the government's affordability agenda and honors our platform pledge to finalize landlord and tenant amendments in support of positive rental relationships and protect compliant parties. Madam Acting Speaker, the proposed Landlord and Tenant Bill 2025 would, among other measures, set a streamlined, consistent regime for security deposits and late fees, establish clear timelines and procedures for repair and terminations, prohibit harassment, lockouts, and unlawful evictions, create specialist tribunal to deliver fast, less costly, and less adversarial outcomes, and address rent arrears through a process capable of quickly resolving cases compared to the current average of 6 months. Madam Acting Speaker, this reform seeks balance. Landlords would benefit from clearer obligations, efficient enforcement, and reduced risks. Tenants would equally gain protection from unfair practices and timely recourse when issues arise. Together, the intention is to restore confidence in a system that sometimes and too often fails to deliver prompt and practical justice. Madam Acting Speaker, between the 24th of September and the 31st of October of this year, the ministry has conducted inclusive consultation. We have engaged the Bar Council, landlords, tenants, advocacy groups, commercial property owners, conveyancing attorneys, corporations, and public agencies. Submissions were received through the Government Citizens Forum and also hosted a virtual feedback forum and direct correspondence to the ministry. A summary of findings will be published in November of this year to inform final policy and legislative drafting ahead of tabling. The Landlord and Tenant Bill 2025 further supports the government's efforts to address housing access and to further seek to support increased supply and amicable tenancies. Madam Acting Speaker, in the coming weeks, the ministry will review and refine and incorporate the recommendations received and continue engagement with stakeholders. Consultation does not end with this update. We will bring forward a bill we will not bring forward a bill that fails to solve the problems identified. We will keep working until the final legislation reflects the progress of the public so desperately desires. Madam Acting Speaker, through this reform, we act on the voices of Bermudians. We will ensure that the landlord and tenant laws reflect our shared values of equity, accountability, and respect. Success will be measured by advancing a modern legislation underpinned by a fairness framework and improves on access to justice and supports everyone who rents a home, provides a home, and calls Bermuda home. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. And that does indeed conclude statements by ministers. We are now on reports of committee, and there are none. That now brings us to question period. And the first item up is for written response from the Premier to Member Dekuto. Member, have you received your written responses?
No, I have not, Madam Acting Speaker.
Okay. Premier?
Madam Acting Speaker, is given to the answers when similar questions were asked before and must defer the answer to the questions in the interests of the government in the sense of negotiations that are taking place at the OECD at this time. The honorable member did have a meeting with the Ministry of Finance officials who did inform him of the release of that information could be very dangerous to the jurisdiction, and so we are holding this, and I've informed the honorable member that we'll be able to release it at a later point in time.
Okay, thank you, Minister. So you have been informed that, about the sensitivity of the items.
I have been informed of the government's view as to the sensitivity, Madam Acting Speaker. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, member. We shall move on. The next item up was with the Minister of Housing and Municipalities. There were written responses from him to Member Fay. Member, did you receive the written responses?
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. I have indeed received the written
Thank
responses.
you, member.
Thank you.
That takes us to the Minister of National Security, and the response is to be oral. I ask from Robert Keane. Member Keane, can you put your question to the minister so he can give you the response?
Good morning, Acting Speaker and members of the House. Will the Honorable Minister
Dusty.
please inform this Honorable House what are the projected start and completion dates for the repair of the HM Customs and Immigration Dock located on Ordnance Island in St. George's, which has been unusable since 2024, as the Minister was informed by his technical staff in October 2024. Thank you.
Minister?
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. Madam Acting Speaker, consultation is ongoing with the Department of Planning, Corporation of St. George's, and various other stakeholders, while the technical design is finalized. Our schedule is for construction to begin in Q2 2026 and to be complete in Q3 2026. But we are working to compress this as much as possible without sacrificing quality or due process. In the meantime, we are exploring the use of the berth adjacent to Customs, which is currently occupied by the pilot boats. The pilot boats would then be shifted eastwards on the dock.
Okay, thank you, Minister. Any supplementals to that question? There are none? We will,
No, thank you.
thank you. We will move on. That takes me to the questions from Van Smith. Did you receive your written responses?
Yes, thank you, Madam Acting
Thank you,
Chair.
member. That brings us along to the Minister Adams. Questions coming from the opposition leader. These questions, the responses were also written. Have you received those written responses?
Yes, good morning again.
You
I-
received the written responses?
I have, however, it's in the,
No, you've received the written
I've-
responses?
I've
We don't
received-
debate them on the floor.
no, okay, sorry. I've
Yes.
received our written response. Yes, I have received our
one-
written response.
I have one question here, so I would expect that you would get a singular answer to this question, to that question.
For a point of clarification, what was asked for was not received in total.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
so we will deal with, you can deal with that by putting other future questions to him, yeah. With the Minister of Tourism, Transport, Culture, and Sport, his answers are to be oral, so I ask on Member Dwayne Robinson to put your questions to the Minister.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. Question 1, will the Honorable Minister please inform this Honorable House when a new National Road Safety Plan will be rolled out to the public? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. A new National Road Safety Plan will be introduced by the Bermuda Road Safety Council in April of 2026. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you. Supplemental?
Yes, Madam Acting Speaker. Will this plan include collaboration with Public Works and the Ministry of Public Works on identifying hotspots of accidents and making them safer? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. I'm happy to report that the Bermuda Road Safety Council are doing amazing work for this country, and they often meet with other ministries, so I'm sure that there will be no change in that. So the answer to that question is yes, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you. Further supplemental, or are we on question 2?
Second supplemental. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. Will the minister consider implementing a annual or biannual update to our National Road Safety Plan on an ongoing basis, or for a forward-going basis? Thank you.
Minister?
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. And I know that in this honorable house, we do know that we have the immediate past chairman of the Road Safety Council sitting right behind me, and happy to report that a lot of the communications that he started while he was chairman of this council are continuing. I have spoken with the new chair of the Road Safety Council as well as the Road Safety Council officer and asked them to do more to get those communications and those updates, which are currently monthly, by the way, Madam Acting Speaker, in the public domain. But if the honorable member from the other side is asking me to take more of a front-facing role in giving those updates, I will certainly endeavor to do so. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you. We are now on question 2. Put your question to the minister, please.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. Will the Honorable Minister please inform this Honorable House about any legislative or policy changes that have been recommended by the Bermuda Road Safety Council between October 2022 and October 2025? Thank you.
And I'm reminded that oral responses are brief, so hopefully the minister will be able to give you a brief response that satisfies you.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. There have been several policies that have been recommended, and some are in the various stages of becoming into legislation. One is the Project Ride enhancements on road training to improve rider skills and safety through practical real-world training. The other one is an e-bikes legislation, Madam Acting Speaker, to establish clear regulations governing the safe use and operation of electric bicycles on Bermuda roads. Another one is the implementation of a rental car company association to ensure that all tourists and individuals renting livery cycles complete a certified cycle training course before being allowed to rent. This initiative aims to create a constant standard for safety and accountability within the rental industry. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Supplemental?
Yes, just to see if I can seek a bit of clarification as to, I guess, specifically.
Ask a question.
Yes, can I get some insight on the specific road safety legislation or recommendations made? Because I know obviously the minister cannot list all of them in his answers, but I'm just trying to narrow it down to some further
Asking him to
policy.
speak to details of future legislation. Is that what you're asking him to do?
No, more so legislative direction. So it's not actually bills.
We'll see how the minister chooses to handle that. I don't know that he can at this point in time.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. My answer previously remains. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Would you have a second supplemental, or we move to question 3?
Question 3, Madam Acting Speaker. Thank you. Will the Honorable Minister please inform this Honorable House on the government's strategy to reduce impaired driving in Bermuda?
Minister?
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. As the honorable member from the other side will know that in the past few years, there have been many strategies that have come in place. Some sit within my ministry and some sit within other ministries that are proving to be effective at various times. However, when it comes to my ministry and the Road Safety Council, the transportation plan is the Bermuda Road Safety Council's key strategy to reduce impaired driving. This aim of this transportation plan is to promote and encourage all event planners to implement a transportation plan to ensure their guests can travel to and from events safely. It also encourages partygoers to have a transportation plan in place if they intend to consume alcohol. The transportation plan promotes planning ahead, making responsible choices to ensure everyone gets home safely. And I'm sure, Madam Acting Speaker, that as we move into the holiday season, as well as some of the festive events that have been happening this weekend, you can see that many of the partners and stakeholders that use transportation are absolutely adhering to this plan that has been advised by the Road Safety Council. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Member, do you have any supplementals, or is that it?
Yes, I have a supplemental, Madam Acting Speaker. Is there any consideration given to strengthening the penalty for causing death through driving dangerous and impaired?
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. That will be a discussion that will be held at another place, and when we have that discussion and decisions are made, it will be brought to the appropriate place. Thank you, Madam Acting
Thank
Speaker.
you, Minister. Further supplemental. That's it. Let's move on. There's another question for you, Minister, from Member DeCudo, and that question was to be answered orally. DeCudo, can you put the question to the member?
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. Given the recent Pink Ferry breakdown since the last session, will the Honorable Minister please advise this Honorable House whether or not the Ministry has a specific plan to modernize the Pink Ferry service? Thank you.
Minister.
Madam Acting Speaker, I must say that, through a technicality as to what the Honorable Member from the other side has done here, I'm going to give the same response that I gave previously, but it almost is as if he was sitting waiting for the one breakdown.
Point of order?
Your point of order?
The member is impugning improper motive, Madam Acting Speaker. I act here on behalf of my constituents who are quite anxious to know the topic of these questions. Thank you, Madam
Thank
Acting
you, Member.
Speaker.
Minister?
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. I actually wanted him to say that. I'll repeat the same response that I did give before. This review of the Pink Ferry route is currently in process, and this review will help us to inform future decisions about its operation. This review will consider a range of options for the route's future. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Are there any supplemental questions? Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Does this review consider purchasing new ferries? Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, surely the member from the other side would know that a review considers all options. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Any further? Last supplemental.
Yeah, thank you. Another supplemental. Does this review consider using other boats currently available in Bermuda, perhaps on a charter basis from private individuals? Thank you.
Thank you. Minister?
Madam Acting Speaker, the review that is currently being done will help to inform all future decisions. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. So that brings us to our statements from ministers. I do have for Minister De Silva, the opposition leader from constituency 10, wishes to put a question to you, Minister De Silva.
Good morning again. The question is in reference to the 304 applicants for housing. 72 were designated as critical. Can the Honorable Minister and Deputy Leader inform this Honorable House what critical criteria is?
Sure. Critical comes in many forms. Those without homes, that don't have anywhere to live, those that may be living with relatives in cramped quarters, those folks that may be living with family and children in large numbers in confined accommodations.
Thank you. Supplemental to that?
Yes, Madam Speaker. Understanding that there are 72 persons in critical need of housing for the reasons stated, is there consideration to repurpose some of the units at the Bermudiana Resort for critical needs, the 72 that you've identified in your statement? Thank you.
That is possible.
Okay. Second supplemental or second question? Do you? You're done? Thank you. Any other persons have supplementals? No. So that takes us to the Minister Weeks. I think the member from constituency 7 has a question for Minister Weeks on the hurricane response. You have a
Madam Acting Speaker, I did have questions for the Minister of Housing and had advised earlier.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So I do apologize.
Thank you.
For the other side, because I do have you down. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. Would the Honorable Minister had made mention of the emergency housing plan for 2025 to 2027 being developed. Will the Minister table this plan and release to the general public when completed?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you. Supplemental?
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. The Minister made mention that within that plan, part of that was for the purposes of bringing in, or in that part of that plan was modular and container homes, and 11 have been apparently brought into the island or will be put on government land. What planning permissions have been received for the installation of those 11 modular homes?
It's a work in progress.
Second supplemental.
In relation to those 11 modular homes, can the Minister advise whether or not that they have been tested for the purposes of hurricane strength and match Bermuda's building codes, given the various statements we've heard today about strengthening hurricanes?
Okay.
Yes, they have.
Thank you. Second question?
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. Given that Home has identified that there are 1,100 homeless or people facing homelessness, and that there are 304 applicants at BHC looking for accommodation, that means that there are around 700 people that are looking for homes. Will the Minister consider? Oh, no. Will the Minister consider using empty school buildings to provide immediate shelter for those in need?
Minister?
We are looking at all options.
Thank you. Supplemental?
Thank you. No supplemental. Next question.
Yeah, okay. Question 3.
Thank you.
This is supplemental.
Again, the Minister made mention of a statement of the Affordable Housing Strategy 2025 to 2035, which he said will be presented to Cabinet in due course. Given the report is for 2025 to 2035, can the Minister confirm the strategy will be put before Cabinet this year and will then table that strategy in this House for debate prior to the end of this year?
Thank you. Minister?
Yes.
Okay. Supplemental to that?
Thank you. Can the Minister also advise this Honorable House today which entities have been consulted in preparation of that strategy report?
I will be glad to send that list to the honorable member, but I can assure you there's been no stone left unturned with regard to consultation with the future of housing development in the country. The list is long, very long.
Thank you. Second supplemental?
No, simply to thank the Minister for undertaking to provide that list. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That moves us on, to Minister Weeks. And the member from constituency 7 has a question or two for you, Mr. Weeks.
Thank you, Acting Madam Speaker. And thank you to the Minister for his statement. I have a simple question, and that is, as it relates to hurricanes and power outages and things, is the Minister or has the Minister considered working proactively with the Minister of Public Works so that we can get the trees cut from the government areas, so the railway trails, the tribe roads and things, so that Belco don't have to cut them down before they actually restore people's power? Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Minister Weeks.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker, and thank you for that question. Public Works is very diligent in trying to maintain cotton foliage, I think, on public lands, but residents also have a part to play in trying to make sure that trees are cut back in a
Thank
timely
you.
fashion.
Thank you, Minister. You have a supplemental to that? Second question.
A supplementary,
Okay.
Madam Acting Speaker.
Yes.
And that is, can the minister speak specifically to the government areas, not the residents? It's very clear that the residents are required to cut the trees on their property, but there are considerable areas whereby, on the railway trails, the tribe roads, and some of the public roads, where the trees are growing into the Belco overhead wires. So that's the question that I'm asking. Thank you.
Minister.
Thank you for that. So for clarity, the Public Works, the Ministry of Public Works is a part of the Emergency Measures Organization. Every ministry that's a part of the emergency organization knows what it is that they have to do in order to help us prepare and mitigate damages pre-hurricane.
Okay. Thank you. Second supplemental?
Yes, please, Madam
Okay.
Acting Chair. Can the minister speak to whether that proactive work is going to commence like now, so now that we're coming to, or at the end of the hurricane season, so that when we get to hurricane season, we're not trying to cut trees down? Thank
Are
you.
you asking him to speak on another ministry?
No, I'm asking him whether there is collaboration or discussion between the two ministries to get the work done on the EMO side.
Minister?
The EMO meets regularly during the year, and we discuss strategies and ways to mitigate any damages that may affect our country.
Okay. Thank you. Second question?
No, thank you,
There's no
Madam
second
Acting
question.
Chair.
Thank you, member. That takes us to questions from member Smith from constituency 31, is it? Thank you.
Yes, it's
Put your
31. Thank you.
question, and that is on keeping, that is to the Minister of.
Of Health.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. My question is specific to a comment that the minister made about there being a coordination, or there will be a coordination between Public Works, Health, and the environment to try to protect the community against the bacterial diseases brought about by rodents. My question is, will that also consider the impact of uncollected garbage, which tends to be a breeding ground for a lot of what we see? And certainly having just, now just seeing these cases arise, we are down to 1 day of trash collection. Should we perhaps consider 2?
Yes, thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. The frequency of trash collection obviously is a matter for the ministry responsible for public works. However, what I can say is that the Ministry of Health does continue to work closely with them to provide data and other public health advice that we receive on the ground from environmental health. And we can confirm at this time the Department of Health has not confirmed any direct link between the current trash collection schedule and any increases in the LEPO cases here in Bermuda.
Thank you. Any supplemental questions?
Yes, I do. In relationship to the coordination between Public Works, Environment, and Health, do we feel that we have enough resources to prevent this from becoming a more serious problem than it is at the moment?
Minister.
Yes, thank you. Madam Acting Speaker, the environmental health officers, as well as those under Denner, do continue to coordinate with respect to matters that are surrounding the Leptobacteria disease. We are confident that, again, it's important to note that the challenges that we're facing, regrettably, are largely as a result of public's inactivity insofar as taking out their trash on the regular days, using bins, et cetera. So we are encouraging the public to take their own responsibilities so that we can arrest this particular bacterial disease. Again, it is something that has only been found once in humans in forever. So the first case being in 2023. So it isn't something that we're just raising the alarm bell insofar as making sure that people protect themselves and their property and their animals by doing the requisite precautionary measures that I spoke about. It's just a matter of public awareness. This can be arrested with all of our assistance.
Thank you, Minister. Second supplemental. Or
Yes,
second question?
yes, I do.
Second question or second
Second
supplemental?
question, please.
Second question.
Yes, thank you,
Okay.
Madam Speaker. Are we looking at other additional ways to perhaps stem the rodent population beyond baits and traps? Something that perhaps would have a more fundamental outcome.
Madam Deputy Speaker, as I indicated in the statement, I gave a number of examples of what the environmental health team was doing insofar as trying to arrest the rodent population. Again, I have to emphasize that this particular episode is as a result largely by inactivity or irresponsibility of members of the public by not adhering to the guidance that we've been repeatedly saying through the Ministry of Health, Environmental Health, as well as Denner, as it relates to taking out your trash on the trash days, ensuring that it's bagged and sealed and in trash bins and so forth. I have to commend the Corporation of Hamilton because they've actually started doing a distribution. They're having all of the restaurants have their trash in these particular bins that are supplied and so forth. So we all have a responsibility to ensure that we reduce the rodent population, and in particular so that we can reduce the spread of this particular bacterial disease.
Thank you.
Thank you. I
Supplemental.
I do have supplemental.
Okay.
Is the objective here control or eradication?
I'm not sure if the objective is, with respect to LAPRO, is to ensure that the public are aware of it so that we can take our own measures. We can control it. People can travel overseas and go swimming with elephants and come back to Bermuda and have LAPRO. So, we're not going to close the borders and restrict people from traveling. All we're trying to do is raise awareness here in our communities so that people can take the requisite precautionary measures.
Second supplemental or
Yes, yes, please. My question really is in relationship to the rodent population that we have here. There are certain things that we do to help control it, but there may be other things that could be done, and this is really the basis of the question, that could help move us from controlling to eradication.
So you're asking her to
I'm asking her whether we would consider, for instance, trying to perhaps be more aggressive with the rodent problem.
Minister?
Yes, I'm not quite sure that any country has eradicated the population of rodents when you've got trash, farmland, et cetera, et cetera. If they have, I welcome that information. However, again, it's a matter of trying to control it. We are certain and confident that the resources that we have at Vector Control, as it relates to the baiting and so forth, and as I spoke about it, we're doing the baiting regularly in hot spots. If persons want to have their own properties baited, they can contact Vector Control and they'll set up and then they'll continue on a rotation. So again, it's just a matter of informing the individual public, the members of the public, of what they can do and the shared responsibility. But if any country has eradicated rats, I'd love to know how they do it.
Thank you, Minister. Third question?
Yes, I do. What, if anything, is the Ministry of Health going to do to monitor any additional cases and take action if necessary?
Madam Acting Speaker, as I spoke in the report, the epidemiology and surveillance unit are well equipped. They did COVID to deal with monitoring certain types of bacterial diseases and things, public health matters that come within our community. So them, under the auspices of the Chief Medical Officer, have tackled this. They are starting further educational campaigns, which will probably be launched on Facebook today, and they are perfectly seized to address a particular matter, again, that's happened once in 2023 and 3 times in 2025.
Thank you. Supplemental?
No, thank you, Minister, and thank you, Madam
Thank you.
Acting Speaker.
That moves us to Minister Hayward. We have two members having questions to ask of you. I'll call
Madam
upon
Acting
the
Speaker, if you recall, I have questions on this statement as well,
On which statement?
on the Health Minister's statement.
Okay, I put you down for something else. Sorry.
No, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. I thank the Honorable and Learned Minister for Health, Kim Wilson, for her presentation, and I hope I pronounce this correct, for keeping our community protected from leptospirosis. The questions that I have are on behalf of the Shadow Minister of Health, who we know is absent. Given the questions that have just been put by my honorable colleague, MP Linda Smith, I too have a few questions on the second paragraph in relation to rats and the transmission of leptospirosis by reason of the rat population. Just parenthetically, the minister asked if there was a country that had eradicated rats. I believe the Falkland Islands has eradicated rats. I don't know how they did it, but I believe they have. Obviously, a popular topic. My question is this, Honorable Minister, does vector control propose any changes to its current level of services in relation to this concern over leptospirosis?
I thank that honorable and learned member for his question. What vector control is attempting to do again is to encourage the public. If you feel that you have an area within your residence and so forth that may require baiting, contact them and they will send the baits out. They have a regular schedule where they go from east to west and check on how much bait is required and so forth. So they're encouraging members of the public. They already do it for the ones that have already signed up and or for the hot spots that they know in the island. But if you have an area where you're concerned, maybe you live, your property is next to a farm or whatever, they are encourage you to call the number that I've spoken about, 278-5333, and that's environmental health, or you can email, excuse me if I can repeat it again, envhealth@gov.bm, and they're here to support and they will provide the requisite baiting that is required. Thank you.
Thank you. Supplemental?
Yes, supplementary. Extremely grateful for the Honorable Minister's endorsement of the services of vector control with which the opposition agrees. The supplemental question is it anticipated with the issue with leptospirosis that vector control might receive additional funding in light of this matter?
It is not anticipated, like I've indicated previously, and I've seen pictures of how much bait that they have. So they've got certainly sufficient bait to assist the members of the public. However, again, this is something that I'm raising awareness for the public about this, but it is not something that is pervasive. One case in 2023, 2 cases now, and I think 3 dog cases in the last several years. So it isn't something, fortunately, that is of a high alarm. I'm just trying to raise this from a public health perspective so persons can take action appropriately. Gardening, for example, as I've indicated. If you're outside gardening, and I'm encouraging everyone to do that because it helps food security as well as it's producing exactly health and producing the vitamins that we need in our proper food. However, that is one area that you can potentially pick it up because you could have a cut, and the urine from an infected animal can be transmitted to the human. It doesn't transmit from human to human, but it does transmit from water or urine or infected animals.
Thank you. Second supplemental or second question?
Yes, I just thank the Honorable and Learned Minister for her answer and encourage her to take a look at whatever it was the Falkland Islands did. Thank you.
Thank you. That moves us along to Minister Hayward, and we have 2 members who have questions of him.
Madam Acting Speaker, I just want to rise on a point of order.
Sorry.
I think the members inadvertently misleading the House regarding the eradication of rats in the Falkland Islands.
Okay.
And so I would ask that he provide the factual information regarding the Falkland Islands. I believe what is stated is what he believes to be correct, and it's not actually correct based off of. That is correct.
If it assists the Honourable Member, I was not making assertions of fact. I was just sharing with the Honourable Minister something that I believe to be the case, and indeed Professor Google can no doubt enlighten us both.
Thank you.
So he must withdraw his statement.
Well, what the member is suggesting is that while you may have reported on something that you believe to be true, you don't know that it's actually a fact. So maybe you want to err on the side of caution and say and continue that you believe that to be true and it's not quite factual. Member?
Honorable Acting Speaker, I'll do whatever you direct me to do. I did say I believe. I referred it, and I was trying to be helpful. And indeed, my suggestion was taken as a helpful suggestion by a very helpful response by the Honorable Minister of Health. It's only by the intervention of the Honorable Minister of Economy and Labor that this is now becoming an issue.
Okay, and what I will remind the entire House is that as parliamentarians, we are duty bound to report on facts.
If you'll permit me to read from Google. Yes, the Falkland Islands have successfully eradicated rats from numerous islands as part of a large-scale conservation effort to restore native bird population. Thank you, Madam Acting
Thank you,
Speaker.
Member, for the clarification. Yeah. We shall continue, and I think what the minister is getting at is that it may not be totally, they may not be totally eradicated from the Falkland Islands, but
I will
maybe
gladly
some
accept that. I will
islands
gladly accept that.
in Falkland. Yes, thank you. Yes. Thank you. We will continue. I call on the member from constituency 25 to put his question to the Minister Hayward. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. And my question concerns the portion of the statement that refers to the amendments to the work policy that all work permit holders have proficiency in the English language. It is my understanding that there could be up to 150 Cuban nationals working at the Fairmont Southampton site who have come here directly from Cuba and do not have visas through third English-speaking countries. Does the minister know if those workers speak English in compliance with this work permit policy? Thank you.
Thank you. Minister?
At this point, the expectation for all workers in Bermuda is that they are proficient in the English language. There have been no formal complaints provided to the Department of Immigration as it pertains to the nationals which are working at the site in which the member mentioned.
Do you have a supplemental?
Yes, thank you. Supplemental.
Okay.
Did the employer of these Cuban nationals make representations to the government that they speak English in compliance with the policy? Thank you.
Thank you. Minister?
At the time in which those work permit applications would have been submitted, the policy wouldn't have been in place where all employers now have to prove English proficiency for their employees. And so as of November 1, all employees and any new permits coming in will have to prove English proficiency. I'm not sure why the member is singling out or targeting one specific group of workers that are working on one project, but certainly across the board we have nationals from a multitude of countries that their home country is not an English-speaking country, and as a result, we want to make it clear in our policy moving forward that every single individual who enters Bermuda to work must have proficiency in the English language. If they have not come from a country which is primarily English-speaking country, then we're asking those individuals to make proof that they have attended an English-speaking university or they have passed the designated test that the Immigration Department has identified.
Thank you, Minister. Second supplemental or second question?
Second supplemental,
Okay.
Madam Acting Speaker. Thank you, Minister, much appreciated. So can you confirm that we should expect that upon renewal of these Cuban nationals' work permits that they will all be English speakers or have English speaking proficiency? And because the question was asked, I just use this as a specific example. I find, Madam Acting Speaker, that using specific examples can help illustrate policies and improve understanding. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you. Minister?
It currently stands that all individuals working in Bermuda should have proficiency in English. Prior to November 1, there was not a test or a burden of proof required. Now we're requiring persons to provide that burden of proof. What we're doing for every new work permit moving forward is ensuring that that test is actually provided. What we are not going to do is require every single worker in Bermuda to then take an exam upon renewal of their work permit applications. If a complaint is made and the Department of Immigration investigates that complaint and finds that individuals are not proficient in the English language, they will be required to submit an examination.
Thank you. Member, do you have a second question?
Yes, thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. Does the Honorable Minister have a view of the prevalence of non-native English speakers in the work permit population? Thank you.
Thank you. Minister?
We do have a total breakdown of work permit holders by nationality. We can make an we know that persons emanate from countries which are not English-speaking countries, but we cannot make an assumption that all of those individuals are not proficient in English because they come from a non-English-speaking country.
Okay. Thank you, Minister. Supplemental? No supplemental. Third question? No third question. I move to Member Robinson from constituency 30, I believe it is.
Yes, Madam Acting Speaker, thank you. My question for the minister is, let me declare my interests. I work in the field of immigration as my day job. I just wanted to ask the minister about the additional work permit policies as mentioned in the statement. As we know, the Department of Immigration have a lot of things that they are currently having to enforce. Does the minister feel as though there is adequate resources available to enforce these new policies that have been amended recently? Thank you.
Okay. Minister.
The answer is yes.
Thank you. Supplemental? No. Second question?
Yes. My second question, Madam Acting Speaker, is it was mentioned in the statement as well about maternity and paternity leave. And I just wanted to ask the minister if there have been any consideration on a shared parental leave scheme similar to one in the UK. As we know, families are not as traditional as they once were. You have women that are now the breadwinners and various things. So is there been any consideration to modernizing our parental leave? And I want to also commend the extension for the paternity leave for men, but as a father, I did utilize that, so I appreciate that. But I just wanted to get that clarity from the minister if it was any issue of, any intention to update that policy or consider any alternatives.
The only policy that the ministry is currently looking at is extending maternity and paternity leave to new legal guardians and parents who adopt young children.
Thank you. Supplemental to that question? Third question? No third question. That moves us on to the minister who gave a report on affordable. I'm trying to think of it. I think it's Lightborn, Minister Lightborn. Member Fay from constituency 20. Came up afterwards.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. The minister made mention in the statement about the initiative with grocers and wholesalers for the reduction of food costs for 9 months. At the conclusion of that 9-month period, what is the minister's intent to reduce food costs at that time?
Okay. Minister.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. Through engagement with the stakeholders, the ministry has understood the operational expenses, and it is the intention that at the conclusion of the 9-month period, we would be able to have evolved policies and/or legislation relating to lowering their operational cost to then also see that cost savings passed on to the customers. Thank you.
Thank you. Supplemental?
No, I'll have a
Second
second
question?
question. Yeah. Given the price of food in Bermuda, will the minister undertake to work with the Ministry of Health to consider removing sugar tax?
Minister?
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. The ministry has received over 300 individual recommendations. We are systematically going through them. The Affordable Bermuda Agenda tabled today marks phase one, and so we will continue to refine proposals as stated in the statement and enact them as appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Do you have a supplemental to your second question?
I do. It was actually a fairly simple question. Will the minister give consideration to working with the Minister of Health to remove sugar tax? It's the same question unanswered.
Minister?
We are a collaborative government. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Second supplemental or third question?
Third, well, supplemental.
Second supplemental, okay.
So based on that answer, would the minister essentially accept that she will collaborate, given the statement it's collaborative government, with the Ministry of Health to remove sugar tax?
Okay. Minister?
My previous statement, Madam Speaker, remains.
Okay. Thank you. Third question?
No, Madam Acting Speaker.
And what wasn't clear to me is whether or not you were asking her questions on her last paper, because I asked you if it was on both papers, and I wasn't clear of your response.
So I do have questions on
Yeah,
the minister's
that's
second
why.
statement as well.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, you are up. Ask your member. You may ask your question.
In relation to the second statement
Yes.
on landlord-tenant.
Yes.
Okay, yes, thank you. It's a very brief question. The minister undertook to continue consultation until the final legislation reflects what the public deserves. I think that's what was said in the statement. Can the minister advise this honorable House the date upon which it is anticipated that a final bill may be tabled in this House for debate?
Minister?
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. We are working with chambers to get a date, but first we are looking to refine and further review the policies and the recommendations that the ministry has received. And so I wouldn't be able to declare a date at this time, but we are hoping that it is done before the end of 2025. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have a supplemental?
I do not. Thank you.
Okay. Second question? None?
I do
Okay.
not.
Thank you very much. And that ends question and answer period. So we will now move on to congratulatory and obituary speeches. One second, get this done. I cannot get this thing to work. There. Yes. I'm pushing the buttons and it's not making any changes. Okay. I recognize the Premier. Premier?
Thank you very much, Madam Acting Speaker. Madam Acting Speaker, since it's been a while since we've been here, have a few requests for the House to send letters of condolences. First, of course, Madam Acting Speaker, I would like to ask this Honorable House to extend the condolences to the family of the late District Elder Jarius Landy, who passed away recently, and I'll associate all members of the House on that. He was the husband of Dr. Nathalie Landy, Father Janelle Landy, and my good friend and classmate in person, well known to this side of the House, Michael J. Landy. Elder Landy was a dedicated servant of God whose leadership and ministry within the Warwick Holiness Church, the United Holy Church of Bermuda, and the wider United Holy Church of America touched many lives. I would also like to extend or ask the House to send a letter of condolence to the family of the late Rufus Simmons, a constituent of mine. who's the father of Summer Simmons and proud grandfather of Nazari Fox. And Mr. Simmons will be remembered by his siblings, Ms. Cheryl Ann Griffin, the former Supreme Court Justice, Charles Etta Simmons, Jennifer Page, Orlando Simmons, and Sean Williams. And I'd like to ask the House extend a letter of condolence there. I will associate all honorable members with the next letter of condolence with requests, as I'm sure when persons on that side were in government, and certainly on this side in government, we worked with this individual often. I'd like to ask that a letter of condolence be sent to the family of the late Mr. Eugene Bassett, who passed away in his 57th year. He was a long-serving employee of IDT, probably way back as when it was called CSST, fund and gregarious figure that many of us knew. He is survived by his wife, Gianna Dawn Bassett, and is the father of Eugene Bassett Jr., Ashley Johnson, Ramia Ashines, and Mintua Trot. And I remember this because I remember going to Eugene's house, and persons have heard me speak about the thing about before the 2017 election around his grandson being unable to go to Bermuda College, and saying to make sure that if you go ahead and if you vote for the PLP, I assure you that finances will not be an obstacle to this. I will be attending and speaking at his services today, and bringing condolences on behalf of the government of Bermuda, because IT is not easy work, but many of us have had the opportunity to work with Eugene over the years, and I know certainly you would as well, Madam Acting Speaker, and joining me in those particular condolences. Finally, it is not normally for me to do birthdays, but I must, as one of my constituents is turning 100 tomorrow, and that is to Mr. Kenneth Simmons, who celebrates his 100th birthday, and Bermuda has gained another centenarian, and I join his family and friends in wishing him good health. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you. Are there any other members who wish to? I recognize the member from constituency 30. Member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. I just want to send a congratulatory message to Ms. Carla Zul for 10 years of the Woman Empowerment Summit. This was a grassroots organization that has helped many women in our community, and as a close personal friend of mine, I wanted to bring that to the floor so that she can be recognized for all of her work. And I'd associate the leader and the members on this side with that as well, and the whole House, if they wish, on congratulating her for this amazing achievement. And the event is happening on November 29th, so you can still get some tickets. So hopefully we can support that and support the women in our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, member. I recognize the minister from constituency 29. Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. Madam Acting Speaker, I rise today to for this House to give congratulations to Charlotte Molly Simons from Somerset. She was recently given the Long Service Award by the Bermuda Cricket Board of Control. And people that know cricket know Molly, and she's been a stalwart strength of pillar for that particular sport in this country, and she deservedly received that Long Service Award, and she continues today. I would also like the House associate Minister Wilson, Dennis Lister Jr., Curtis Dickerson, Mr. Wilmot, Vance Campbell, Michael Weeks, the whole House. Molly obviously is very, very well liked by many in Bermuda, notwithstanding the strong support from those in this honorable House. I would also like to the House to send congratulations to Mr. Jerome Lynch for getting a award from Best of Bermuda for tenacious, in the category of tenacious lawyer. Many will know Jerome has done a lot of work in Bermuda, and I associate the honorable member Michael Weeks with that. Whilst I'm on the congratulations trail, I would like to thank the legal team that were successful in the Corporation of Hamilton's Privy Council case, led by none other than the esteemed Delroy Duncan, Ryan Hawthorne from Trotton Duncan, and Lawrence Sadler Best from the AG Department. I would also like to thank, whilst I'm on my feet, Madam Deputy Speaker, is Bermuda Air for supplying a plane to take supplies and goods to Jamaica last week. I don't think they have been given enough credit. and certainly credit is due for them supplying that plane to Jamaica. And whilst I'm here, I'd like to finish off by giving two couples congratulations. One being Glenn Blakeney and his wife Gwen for 43 years of marriage, and also Valerie and Pepe Deal, who just celebrated last month 60 years of marriage. And what a great milestone that is for two very well-known people in Bermuda. Thank you very much.
Thank you, member. Are there any other members who wish to speak? I recognize the minister from constituency 4. Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Acting Madam Speaker. I would like to send condolences to the Baisden and Burgess family on the tragic death of Bridget Baisden. I don't know if any other members would like to be associated. You would have heard much about Bridget and her leadership and her participation in sports and her budding teaching achievements and career. And so we want to send a huge hugs and sympathy and condolences to the family as they grieve the death of dear Bridget, but also wanting to recognize her sister, who was also involved in the incident, Azriel, that we are deeply thinking about you in your healing as well. Would also like to give a congratulatory remark. You may have seen, Madam Acting Speaker, we had representation of the Bermuda Youth Parliament's Bermuda Youth Leader, Ms. Kalaj Simons, who had given words in the House of Commons as it related to Bermuda's, associate the whole House with that. We want to congratulate Kalaj for representing Bermuda and representing the voice of our young people, because I know, as a young speaker, it can be an experience. Kalaj did reach out to me as the minister responsible for youth, and I appreciate that, Kalaj, if you're listening. Just so that there were collaborative words and understanding and guidance with that. So we want to say a big congratulations to all of our youth parliamentarians, all of our Bermudian youth persons who were in the UK representing Bermuda, as well as the support from the government of Bermuda London's office as well in supporting our young people. Thank you,
Thank you,
Madam
Minister.
Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Does any other persons wish to speak? I recognize the member from constituency 28. Member, you have the floor.
That's me.
Thank you, Madam Acting Deputy Speaker. I would like to ask this House to send condolences. I will list off a few of my constituents who have passed since we last sat in this House. Mr. Richard Utterbridge of 20 Sun Valley Road, Mr. Clevie Wade Jr. of 22 Camp Road, Warwick, and Mrs. Dorothy Ferbert of 11 Stacy Estates Road. And Mr. Speaker, I'd also like, Madam Acting Speaker, I'd also like to associate the comments to Mr. Jarius Lendy, also a constituent and staunch PLP supporter. Also, not a constituent of mine, but since we last met, Madam Acting Speaker, I would also like to send condolences to the family of Miss Alice Talbot, who happens to be my wife's family. She passed early in September at the age of 93 years old. Madam Acting Speaker, I would now like to recognize some birthday celebrations in my constituency. At 95 years old, Mrs. Inez Lovell celebrated her 95th birthday on November 4th. And ironically, Mr. Edwin Douglas celebrated his 93rd birthday also on November 4th. And not a constituent of mine, but a former principal of mine at Bermuda Institute. Since we last sat in this House, Mrs. Venlo celebrated her 100th, Miss Edith Venlo celebrated her 100th birthday back in September. So I'd just like to send them all happy birthday congratulations. And before I wrap up, Madam Acting Speaker, I would also like to send congratulations, and I must declare my interest, to my wife, Mrs. Alicia Lister, who received the Condé Nast Traveler's Top Specialist Travel Award in 2025.
Associate me with
our associate MP Kim, our associate to her house. She received that earlier this year, but she only made it public last week. But also that follows on from last year in 2024, she received a Bermuda Best of the Year award also for being a travel agent. So I'd like to send congratulations to my wife, and I wish her the best as she continues in her endeavors as being a travel agent.
Thank you. Are there any other members who wish to speak? I recognize the minister from constituency 16. Member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. I'd like to start on a somber note. I'd like this House to acknowledge the passing of my aunt in her 94th year, I believe, my aunt Cecilia Dean Hall. She is the mother of Julian Hall and Judy Hall Bean, who was a senior civil servant. I like to associate pretty much the whole house. When it comes to my aunt, just make some notes. She was a hard-working married woman all her life, who, along with her dearly beloved mother Phillips and her late husband Lynn Hall Sr., raised and ensured that her 4 children were educated to university level and became successful citizens in Bermuda. My auntie was dedicated to the majority of her life with just caring for her family. She had a strong personality and was very, very independent. Professionally, she was a quiet legacy who reached the highest level in the management team at the Bermuda Telephone Company as an assistant manager during a period, Madam Acting Speaker, when not many women were able to do so on the island. This speaks to Auntie's hard-working ethics. During her long illness and until her death, she was a strong, intelligent, and hard-working woman, always ready to give us some advice or encouragement whenever she saw us. Aunt Cecilia was loved and respected for her kindness and tenacity. She will be remembered fondly. I would also like to ask the House to acknowledge the passing of Sergeant Major Chauncey Pearl Durham. He joined the regiment way back when it was the Bermuda Militia Association, back I believe in the 60s. When I came upon him, when I met him, it was the Bermuda Regiment in my time there. He was a real character, and my condolences goes out to his family. On a more pleasant note, I wish to recognize and commend firefighter Jason Williams of the Bermuda Fire and Rescue Service for his extraordinary achievement in completing one of the world's most demanding endurance events, the Spartathlon 2025 Ultramarathon in Greece. Madam Acting Speaker, this grueling race spans an astonishing 153 miles, tracing the historic route from Athens to Sparta, and is widely regarded as the ultimate test of human endurance. Firefighter Williams did an official time of 35 hours and 16 minutes and 5 seconds, a remarkable accomplishment that places him among a very select group of runners worldwide. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Minister. Are there any other persons who wish to speak? I recognize a member from constituency 20. Member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. Many of you know that 6 weeks ago tomorrow, my mother passed away. And it was probably one of the most difficult moments of my life when Mum passed. But I wanted to raise it today because I want to thank the members of this House for all of the outpourings of support and messages of love about Mum and the feelings of the Faye family after her passing. And that's from members on this side and the other side of the House. It's very difficult sometimes to pick up the phone and say things to people about the passing of a loved one, but I want it noted that it was very much appreciated by me and my family for those messages. So thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you, member. Are there any other members who wish to speak? I recognize the member from constituency 7. Member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. I want to start by just speaking, giving a list since we weren't here for a while. So we did speak this morning in the prayer breakfast acknowledging Michael Markham's passing. Also, two family members, Lucinda Susie Pilgrim, and as well as the Premier had mentioned Eugene. Eugene is actually my sister-in-law's husband. So just want to, again, more broadly express condolences to my family on that. A constituent, Mrs. Claire Perry, who fairly recently passed away, at least she passed away when we were on break. Mrs. Rose Claire McGowan, who is very well known in this house in particular as Mackay's granny, Cleveland County, and as well as Gordon Dunlop. He is the I'm going to associate the whole house with that. I was actually quite surprised to learn that Gordon was Ursula Dunlop's brother and Renee Dunlop's uncle. And Ursula has known me from time, knee-high to a grasshopper. And so I recently learned that. And I, again, would like to associate with Bridget Basden's condolences as well, and the remarks made by Minister Ferbert. I would also like to associate with the congratulations to Carla Zhu on her 10 years of women's empowerment sessions. And I saved the last one, last congratulations, because it's near and dear to my heart, and that is congratulations to the Mid-Ocean Club and Austin Greystock and the awesome team that they have there. They have recently achieved Investors in People Platinum status. I was there helping to lead the team to get them to gold status. So that's why it's so important to me. We got gold on our first try, and they have just recently received platinum status. And so if anybody doesn't know what Investors in People is all about, it is a recognition of excellence in people management. It is a management standard. And so they have achieved that. And they are actually the first golf club in the world that has actually achieved that status. So it's a big deal. So again, congratulations to them. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Member. Does anyone else wish to speak? I recognize the member from constituency 2. Member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. I'd like to be associated with the condolences extended by Member Fay on the loss of his mother, and Minister Weeks on the passing of cousin Cecilia Hall, who married into my Hall family from Whale Bay. Leon Hall was my mother's first cousin, and she became a very integral part of the whole family, my family, and the McGowan family from Harris's Bay. On a brighter note, Madam Speaker, I'd like to recognize the 101st birthday of Viola Fabla, and I'll associate yourself and also Member Meng on that, and Weeks. I'd also like to extend congratulations to the St. George's Foundation, in particular Mr. Stuart Smith, on the fine work that they continue to do restoring forts. The recent one just highlighted was Fort Albert, and it's there for all to see. I'll associate the whole house. I know Minister Wilson and Minister De Silva tried to get my attention as well. I'd like to acknowledge the Port Royal Golf Course, former member Jason Wade, chairman, for the fine work that they've done to get the course ready for the Bermuda Championship coming up, and acknowledge the 3 Bermudians that will be representing, Will Hedrell, and of course the 2 young proteges of mine who both played when they were 14 years of age, Kenny Lejour Jr. and Oliver Bouchard. Both will be playing together, having been 2 of the youngest people ever to have played. Now are going into that event with some gusto. Oliver nearly made the cut last time as a 14-year-old. Kenny did very well as a 14-year-old. We're expecting them to do very well. We wish them all well. And now it's the retirement of Chief Inspector Coon Evans from St. George, who you would remember some years walked through here proudly as Black Rod, the minister responsible for national security. And I'm sure Member Ming and yourself, Madam Acting Speaker, will like to be associated with those remarks. He did a very fine job. It's always proud to have someone from your community within the police service, and I hope that we can finally, in his honor, have some speed bumps on Suffering Lane, something from a parochial perspective that I'm sure he was working on in conjunction with myself and others that we hope we could realize. That'll be a nice testament to the good work that he's done in public service. Thank you.
Thank you, member. Are there any other members who wish to speak? I recognize a member from constituency, sat down. I recognize a member from constituency 14. 15, yes.
Pembroke East. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. Couple of sports congratulatories that I would like to give this morning. And the first is to Bermuda's national women's netball team. You will know, Madam Acting Speaker, that I have stood on my feet many times and highlighted the prowess in this country currently and historically of women in sport. There will also be a few other women in sport events put on by the Bermuda Olympic Association and others coming up. But I want to focus on the women's netball team who re-entered international competition after 8 years in the wilderness, they will say. And we're very proud to have discussions with them before they went. We were very proud to support them. As we say, support matters. And we were very proud to welcome them back after their second place finish in their international tournament down in the Caribbean, where, ironically enough, they were second to a nation much larger than a Caribbean nation, which is Canada. But following along with that, I'd like to encourage everyone to continue to get out and support netball in this country. They open their season tomorrow. I will be there to officially open their domestic netball season. And I want to say thank you to the ladies of the Bermuda Netball Association, also the captain, Miss Deborah Evans. Some of you will know her profession. She is a firefighter. Congratulations to her and her team for going down and representing the Bermuda flag well. In another sporting matter, I would like to congratulate Mr. Connor White and Mr. Caden Hopkins. During the break, Madam Acting Speaker, I will be presenting them with a presentation from the government, as they were both given new medals from the 2023 CAC Games in the sport of cycling. Connor has been given a gold medal, where he previously had bronze, and Caden is given a bronze medal, where he previously was not on the podium. So I want to say congratulations to them, Madam Acting Speaker. And finally, I would like to encourage everyone to show up to the Philadelphia Stadium next week, Thursday, as Bermuda finishes its qualifying campaign for football against Curacao here on the island. And a special moment will take place as our top capped individual, Mr. Reggie Lamb, will be playing his final match on home soil for the Bermuda national team. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you. Are there any other members who wish to speak? I recognize a member from constituency 25. Member, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. I jumped the gun last time. I would like to thank St. Mary's Church for their All Souls service on Sunday night, a service of remembering those who we've lost. I want to thank Minister Weeks for his moving remarks at that service. Thank you to Father Williams for inviting me, Reverend Santucci for his remarks and his singing. And we had moving performances by a young musician, Pierre Simons, who you can look her up, but it was very moving, as well as Reverend Jenny Foster Skelton. So I want to thank them for that evening. Also, my colleague MP Fay has left the room, unfortunately, but I know he'll get this, and he probably preferred that I didn't. But I grew up down the street from him and his brother and his parents, and I did want to send my condolences to him and his family. His mother was a fabulous woman. She had strong values. She's instilled them in her sons, and I know that they live on through her grandchildren and the rest of the family. And I'm sure this whole house would like to associate with the condolences for his family. On a more positive note, this weekend, the Bermuda International Optimist Dinghy Association will be having their national championships. So you will see a lot of young children in little white boats bobbing around. It is going to be very windy on some of the days, and I wish them all luck and a safe and enjoyable 3 days of racing. Thank you.
Thank you, member. Are there any other members who wish to speak? I recognize a member from constituency 24. Member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. I just wanted to be associated with the Premier's condolences to Jarius Landy. His son, Michael J. Landy, is my longest serving friend, so we can congratulate him on that. But with Mr. Jarius Landy, I grew up with him. A little known fact is that he is a published author. That was done back in the 90s, and I believe he was part of the first class of Purvis, because my dad was part of the second. So yeah, he was the first class of Purvis. I've never seen him in an upset or in a bad mood. He was always upbeat, had an infectious laugh, and a creative way of phrasing words and making people, basically capturing the time, the event, and the place right there. So I just wanted to be associated with the Premier's remarks for condolences for Mr. Jarius Landy.
Thank you, member. Are there any other members who wish to speak? I recognize a member from constituency 36. Member, you have the floor.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. I'd like to take the time this morning, first of all, associating myself with the myriad of condolences that have been offered this morning. But I'd also like to take a special moment to reflect and ask that condolences be sent to the family of Mrs. Shirley White. She was an outstanding educator and one who made a tremendous impact in this community. Associated MP Dickinson and her other students who are here today. I'd like to also offer condolences to the families of two individuals that lost their lives tragically in road accidents. Mr. Jermaine Darrow, who was making great progress and making quite a contribution, and also Mr. Stuart Oldboy, and offering condolences to his wife Jennifer and the entire family. MP Wilmot and MP Reeks I have associated with those condolences. On a more positive note, I'd like to offer congratulations as we celebrate Mrs. Paulette Codrington of the Bose Island community, who will be celebrating her 100th birthday this weekend. Mrs. Codrington, I'm made to understand, was an individual who throughout her life, even though she had a calm, very calming exterior, was a very fun-loving individual. And I want to tell you that her family is so excited about this milestone, along with other members of the Sands community. And we just say very, very happy birthday to Mrs. Codrington, who's known as Mama Pearl. And MP Wilmot would like to be associated with that as well. Last but not least, the minister that deals with sports ran out of time, so I want to take the time to congratulate the pickleball family of Bermuda. I understand that the Bermuda pickleball team has made its mark on the international stage, that in a field of over 5,200, they came in 26th, and they have set themselves apart from others, and we look forward to seeing more from those who participate in the game of pickleball. Thank you.
Thank you, member. Are there any other members who wish to speak? I recognize a member from constituency 1. Member, you have the floor.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Madam Acting Speaker. I would just like to be associated with the comments for Bridget Baston, definitely one going too soon. And I'd also like to give condolences to the family of, and I'm sure you want to be associated with this, Madam Acting Speaker, Bruce Fogo from St. David's, but would have been like a St. George's guy to the rest of us, also Minister Darrell. I'd like to also associate the whole House with these comments, yes. Congratulations to the Parliamentary Prayer Breakfast Committee. They hosted the breakfast this morning. We had an excellent speaker in Mr. Gil Tucker, who obviously would have given us an interesting message for us to listen and pay attention to. And he is a St. George's supporter, but he has deep roots in St. George's as well. And I'd also like to be associated with the comments for the St. George's Foundation, who did recently hold the open house for Fort Albert. I just want to say that those forts have been restored now for probably about a year. And if members haven't had a chance to get on and visit, I encourage you to do so. They are absolutely beautiful. I, in my mind, plan events there all the time, but it also speaks to our history. And for St. George's, it's the reason why we have UNESCO World Heritage status, is because our forts allow us to be dated based on the criteria presented by UNESCO. But they are part of our history. They're beautiful. And as I remind you often when we sit here, no matter what you think and where you hail and stuff, you all started in St. George's. This one's near and dear to my heart. Dame Jennifer Smith, on October the 14th, she celebrated her 78th birthday. And for us that sit on this side and for those that sit on this side, you can recognize that she did a lot for us, for our country. And as a woman, she was someone who we can and should be inspired by. So I'd like to associate the whole House with that, Madam Speaker, and Madam Acting Speaker, and I'd also like to be associated with the comments for Sister Viola Ferbert. She gives my church at Richard Allen, so she would so she wouldn't be an aunt to me. We call her sister, and she was actually really just so unassuming about her birthday being mentioned on Sunday in church and everyone coming over to her and saying happy birthday. But she is. If I'm blessed to be able to be 101, I want to be just like that. All of my faculties, all of my mobility, and telling us what you're making a big fuss for. But she is truly blessed, and on our side, we're blessed to still have her. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you. Any other members who wish to speak? I recognize a member from constituency 13. Member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I will preemptively associate the member from 36 with these comments of the good showing that the AME churches had at the Young People's Department, or YPD, district meeting that was held in Stamford, Connecticut, October 10th through the 12th. Why this is something that I wish to bring is something happened at that meeting, and 2 persons from Bermuda were elected to the officers of at the district meeting. My understanding, it's rare to have an officer from Bermuda elected, and it's also rare to have 2 officers from Bermuda elected. And so my condolences also extend to my home church, St. Philip AME, who's the YPD officers that were elected are members of that particular church.
Condolences, you mean congratulations.
Congratulations of that particular church. So they both of the officers came from that church. Okay. Also, congratulations to the young people who did present at the following Sunday coming from that district conference. They gave a very good account for themselves, and they were allowed to lead the service on that day. Those being Shariah, Justice, and Ende, and of course, a young lady by the name of Layla Rebane came forward. So congratulations to them, and I would associate all AME members of the House to that. Congratulations.
Thank you, member. Are there any other members who wish to speak? I recognize the member from constituency 10 and opposition leader. Member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Acting Madam Speaker. First off, I wish to offer condolences to the family of Dr. Eugene Harvey, who died at the age of 89. And yeah, he was responsible for delivering 3,000 babies in this island, and he was also a supporter of Keep Bermuda Beautiful, and definitely will be missed. A couple of good things. The Bermuda Regiment celebrated its 60 years and got its colors. I saw Minister Weeks at the ceremony there. And also, Built to Last conference presentation at the Bermuda College, where I saw Minister of Labor and Immigration, Mr. Hayward, and also Minister of Cabinet and Digital Innovation. They're doing some great things there, so they should be commended for the work that they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members who wish to speak at this time? There being none, I would just like to add my voice to the condolences and send out condolences to the Fogo family and condolences to the Trott family. St. David's has certainly lost their fair share. Mr. Ernest Trott moved to St. David's many moons ago and raised his family there, and he will be sorely missed down there. He will sorely be missed by the Devonshire community, and the type of individual prankster that he was, those who could call himself friends, will surely miss being entertained by Mr. Trott. Bruce Fogo, born and raised in St. David's, and a long-term employee of Balco, just after having retired, yes, did meet his maker about 3 days later, and never even got to enjoy his retirement dinner that they had for him. And he leaves behind a young Deja Lee who will carry on his memory for all in the St. David's community. So condolences to both families from the community of St. David's. And at this point, I want to point out that it is now about 12:20, and we can either choose to continue with the, yes? Okay. And so I will continue at this point before we go to lunch and recognize that there are no matters of privileges at this time. There are no personal statements. And that brings us to the notice of motion for the adjournment of the House on matters of urgent importance. And there are none. So we are now on introduction of bills. So I call on the Minister of Finance and Premier to introduce his bill.
Thank you very much, Madam Acting Speaker. Madam Acting Speaker, I'm introducing the following bill for its first reading, so it may be placed on the order paper for the next day meeting. The Company's Prohibition of Bearer Shares and Nominees Directors Amendment Act 2025.
Thank you, Premier. This takes us to private bills. There are none. Notices of motion. There are none. And that brings us to orders of the day. But at this time, I would like to call on to the Premier to take us.
Thank you very much, Madam Acting Speaker. Madam Acting Speaker, if I may, adjourn the Honorable House for lunch until 2 p.m.
Thank you. This House stands adjourned until 2 p.m.